Last night at PNC Park, a combined 20 runs, Guy Junker. 33 combined hits.
I'm listening to that, and we haven't had our annual 19-inning game yet. Probably coming up.
That's right. Pirates manager Clint Hurdle kind enough to join us here this morning to talk about last night's win. Clint, were you missing small ball last night?
No, it's going to happen. There's going to be ebbs and flows of the season, and we were kind of commenting early on. Put your seatbelt on, boys. I think we're just going to have to ride this one out.
Is it harder to manage a game like that, Clint, or a 2-1 game, or is it just different?
Just different. It's just different. I don't really never thought about a degree of difficulty. You got to be in the moment. You got to manage the game. It's kind of like golf. From my perspective, you play the course. You don't play the guy you're playing against. You play the course. So you play the game. You manage the game. Whatever game's presented to you that night, with the pieces that you have available, the players that you have available, the situations that arise. There was a lot of challenges off the mound for both sides last night. A lot of two-strike hits. Some balls hit hard, some balls hit not so hard. But it was a night our offense needed to pick things up for our pitching staff, and we were able to do so in a very convincing way.
I think that's probably a good time for the team to have a night like that. They've been scuffling a little bit offensively, and everybody gets to breathe a little bit easier when you have a whole pile of guys getting 3-hit nights.
It's great for everybody's confidence because you can encourage people, you can pat them on the back, but nothing breeds confidence like success for males, especially competitive males that are out there trying to get things done. Where everything's being measured and gauged and analyzed. So we have not gotten hot yet on offense. We will. I have every confidence in this group to have an extended run offensively, to continue to work hard to improve our overall offensive production, the quality of our bats, the way we compete in the batter's box, and not just the hits last night. There were some very good outs made, some team at bats throughout. Martin had a couple RBIs without the aid of a hit. Sanchez hit some nice hard balls the opposite way, moving people, hit and run, double right center field gap. Just a lot of good signs besides the top of the order that just jumped out at you as well last night. I think they were 10 for 15 on the night, and just good stuff. We need more of that.
Clint, when you've got some options at shortstop the way you do, and you've tried to work Jordy Mercer in here a lot more over the last few weeks, how do you weigh that between getting his offense going but also getting Barmas his time out there? And what has Jordy shown you with his opportunity?
Well, continue to stay tuned and watch how I'm doing it. I'm doing it right in front of you. So we're trying to get Jordy matched up more against the left-handed pitching. Barmas' history is better against left-handed pitching. It's not happening this year. He's had better bats against right-handed pitching. Jordy's at bats haven't been as clean against right-handed pitching, but we're going to continue to work Jordy in. Jordy stays in the big leagues. Jordy needs to play at least 3 times a week, and I've got to find those opportunities, those reps for him, because we want to continue to develop him and use the skills that he has. So we'll continue to mix and match as we feel best suited for the game that's being played that night. And then, lo and behold, Barmas' offense picks up. That'll help. If Mercer's offense against the right-handed pitching picks up and comes to the floor, that'll help. And the decision will be easier to make, because it continues to be about production. It continues to be about handling the defensive part of the game as well. But we've got to put our guys out there that we think are going to help us win games.
Clint, if Pedro Alvarez has had a better 10-day, 2-week period defensively, I don't remember it. I maybe you could relay a little bit what you were telling us the other night to the listeners here today about his work ethic defensively and how badly he wants to remain a third baseman.
Pedro has an intense desire to play third base. It's as intense as a desire is to be a run producer in the middle of the lineup. He works every day at third base. There's days he comes out early, which I'm sure a lot of people don't have this, but we'll have early hitting on the road at home, 3 o'clock. He won't come out to hit. And it's not like, he should be hitting. He gets plenty of hitting, but he'll come out to work on his defense. just to work on his defense, work on his agility. He'll go in the outfield and just track balls just for first-step quickness to run in the gaps and run things down. He'll go to third base, work specifically on a backhand or a first-step move to the left, a slow roller in. And in the regular work he gets during our batting practice, throws a lot during the day to keep his arms strong and stretched out. I agree with you. It's as good a 10-day period as I've ever seen him have it. At third base, he has saved close to probably a half dozen runs, if not more, in the last week at third base. And they've all been in leverage situations of the game, meaningful situations, not when we're 5 up. I don't think we've ever been 5 up. We're always seem to be in a 2-run swing game one way or the other. So all the plays have been of great magnitude.
Pirates manager Clint Hurdle, our guest here on Trib Live Radio. Garrett Cole's debut Tuesday, of course, was fascinating to watch this week. Clint, have you and the guys kept him properly grounded? Have his feet touched the ground yet?
His feet have touched the ground. I mean, let the guy experience what he needs to experience. He's a very professional young man. He's also a young man. But also he's a very focused young man. So you mix it up. Yeah, he's having some fun. Yes, the guys punk him every once in a while where he needs to be. And they also are glad he's here. So it's all worked out in a very professional and personally fun fashion for him so far. He's got an entourage in seeing him through this week, which I'm sure that's one of the reasons he's getting to the park so early, because it's always fun to hang out with friends and family, and it's nice to shake them loose and get to the park and get focused back on where your primary focus needs to be.
Clint, I've had pitchers tell me that after Tommy John surgery, they actually felt like they were stronger than they were before they had the surgery. Do you believe that's true? What are you looking for from Charlie Morton tonight? Is coming back from that surgery as much mental as physical, until guys are really ready to let go? Your thoughts on Morton and his rehab?
Well, I think you asked 3 questions in there. Number one, there's not a doubt that some people have come back and thrown the ball harder. Not all of them pitch better. But there is no doubt that a high percentage of these guys with the surgery now come back and throw at greater velocity. And that's just a medical marvel, and it's been happening since the surgery started, and it's really taken off the last 5 to 6 years. I've had a handful of them where I've seen it. Charlie's velocity right now, I haven't seen Charlie pitch, so I got nothing for you there. I'm looking forward to seeing him pitch tonight. His velocity's higher than what it was last year, what it was any time during 11, so we'll see how it plays out. He needs to sink the ball. He needs to be able to dot up his 4-seam fastball inside to keep people off the 2-seamer when it's down and away. He'll need to throw his breaking ball. He'll need to use his changeup. I'm looking forward to seeing him pitch. He's worked extremely hard to come back, to get back this quickly. Post surgery, almost about a year to the date. We'll see what he can do with this opportunity and where it takes him and where it takes us. So I'm excited for him. He's worked extremely hard to do it, to come back. And yeah, part of it's mental. Hopefully most of the mental part has worked through it, just the ability to throw the ball. And he sees the gun readings, and whether you like it or not, there's a lot of pitchers that are tied to that gun. They look at that gun, and now he can see where his velocity is and go, wow, okay, I'm strong. Now let me see if I can get some command and make some really good pitches.
Charlie Morton is, for the media, Clint, he's a great guy to talk to. Obviously he has some chatty personality, introspective, thoughtful guy. Is he like that with you and Ray Searage between innings? And I wonder, as a manager, that's got to be interesting to have all these different kind of characters to deal with. Some guys who probably don't give you 2 words, and Charlie who's ready to dissect everything.
I think, yes. Well, he's a great conversationalist, more so away from the game.
Yeah. Pretty
succinct in his thoughts during the game.
Okay.
Nobody's got time for monologues during a game. You ask a question, we encourage people, and myself included. It's quick interaction.
Yeah. It's
simple. It's to the point, where your communication is clear, clean, and accurate, and you move on. Charlie's also got a very funny side. He's a brand new father. Charles V will be pulling for Daddy to go out and throw us a good ball game tonight. He's embarking on a new part of his career, professionally and personally. But he's a sharp guy, and the great thing about it, the clubhouse is the 25 personalities. Now add 10, 8 coaches and add a training staff, add a clubhouse crew. You got a mosh pit of personalities, and it's kind of the fun part of it. Not trying to figure people out, but letting people be themselves and interact within that community.
I did want to ask you, Clint, if you could take us I was a little surprised the other night that Conto's throwing at McCutcheon, only because the situation when Scudero got hit just didn't call for you to be throwing at anybody at that point. The game's actually on the line. Was that what went back and forth there? Can you just sort of fill us in on what happened? Contos got suspended, of course, yesterday.
I'm not going to argue your perspective. I'm not going to argue Bochy's perspective. That's one thing that, for whatever reason, within this whole sport talk radio thing, somebody will ask me a question and then argue with me over my answer, which it's interesting to me. Their perspective, I can give you what I believe their perspective was. One of their best players got hit and could be out up to 2 months. So how would you wear that if you were Bruce Bochy or the other team? They felt, or Contos felt, some retribution was needed. Obviously, his towards button wasn't working very well because he misfired 3 times. I think he lost face. I think he had to reclaim that in the male's mind, the ego, and he hits McCutcheon in the back end.